rock and roll, Miss Jackie. So, all right.
Let's do it.
So I'm going to reintroduce Jackie. So welcome to the call, everybody. Our Freedom Builders group. We have about 250 people now in our group. Remember to mute your mics as you join. So today we have a special guest, Miss Jackie Kravitz. And Jackie, like I mentioned a few minutes ago, has been in the real estate game since 1996. So she's had a couple years experience. And she is now, has been a coach for many years, I think the last 15 years, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jackie. And the reason she is so special is that she, I admired her because she lists and sells 150 FSBO and expired listings per year. That is a really hard feat. That is how I kind of grew up in the business when I met Mike Ferry years ago, and Jackie was a coach for the Mike Ferry organization and has since been a coach for many organizations, and now is doing an independent coaching company. So today she's going to come spread her wisdom with us. She's also going to let you guys know about a really, I think, amazing opportunity to coach with her for, I think, I'll let her tell us, but I think it was like $100 a month or $99 a month. For the people that know me, I've had a coach for the last 10 years at $1,000 a month. And I always tell people that $1,000 a month has earned me probably over $8 million. So you have to invest in yourself to grow. And so I'm always a student, and I believe in coaching. And I think that every single one of us on the call, and then the people that are going to be watching this, because we get a lot of views after, if you can't not afford to get into a coaching program with Jackie. So she's going to explain it later. But Jackie, thank you for joining us and welcome.
My pleasure. Hi, everybody. Yay.
So you're okay. So let me.
So I just give a little bit of background to what Tina was saying, right? So I've been coaching for 14, 15 years. I don't currently sell real estate. I have an active license. I haven't been selling. And when I got into real estate 24 years ago, I had absolutely no sales experience, zero. I had never sold anything in my life. And I had left, when I got into real estate, I'd left a job working at a hotel for almost 10 years in different positions. I worked at a couple of different hotels, front desk clerk, checking people in and out, administrative office, all kinds of different things. My last position in a hotel before I got into real estate, I was making $30,000 a year. And so now, out of nowhere, I decided to get a real estate license. Actually, it's interesting because I ended up really focusing all of my time and energy in FSBOs and expireds. I decided to sell my home at the time before I got into real estate. And since money was really tight, I figured, why not try to FSBO? So I didn't have a real estate license yet, put the house for sale by owner. And after a couple of months, the property wasn't selling. Instead of actually just listing with an agent and paying the commission, I figured, if I get a real estate license, I could save the 3% of the listing agent, because then I can list it myself. That's the reason why I actually ended up getting into real estate. Go figure. I had no intentions of making it into a career, because at the time I had quit my job at the hotel because I had a little baby, a baby daughter, 6 months old. And my son was 8 at the time when I got a real estate license. So now I was a stay-at-home mom, cooking, cleaning, taking care of the kids, and just, decided to do that until my daughter was old enough to go to kindergarten. So now I got a real estate license, and my home sold, bought another property, and one day the broker in the office that I had my license with insisted that I attend this real estate training class. And I'm like, I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I always used to go to the office with my daughter on my hip, because I had nobody to take care of her. So anyway, I signed up for this training class back 24 years ago. Tina, I don't know, you probably heard of it. It was Sweat Hogs. You've heard of
Yeah.
Sweat Hogs?
Yes.
And I honestly, you know, 24 years ago, my memory is not that great. I don't remember much of anything other than it was really about prospecting and getting on the phone and talking to as many people as you can and looking for people that want to buy and sell. And I remember the instructor saying, you know what? There's somebody in your marketplace that wants to buy or sell today. If you just talk to enough people, you'll find somebody. I'm like, I'm not very analytical, so I wasn't like, how many people do I have to talk to? I'm like, okay, when can I do this? Because it seemed like such a great opportunity. And I started making calls nights and weekends because my ex-husband used to have a regular job, and he was to get home around 5 o'clock. I'm like, okay, dinner's ready, here are the kids. And I used to lock myself up in a laundry room and start dialing from 5:30 till maybe 8:30 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. That's what I did my first 2 years, and Saturdays and Sundays all day. And the reason why, you know, this whole thing with fsbos and expireds, that first year, by the way, I sold 25 homes, which is not a lot considering I was working full time and I had no clue what I was doing. I was pretty happy. And what made me even happier is that I made about $70,000 that year. Average price was not that high. And I'm thinking, this is like more than double what I was making in the hotel, working 40, 50 hours a week without any like future really career in that, right? Without a college degree, because I don't have a college degree. I'm like, this is like amazing. What an incredible opportunity. And when I look back that first year, and about a few months into starting after Sweat Hogs, Tina, I attended my first Mike Ferry Superstar Retreat. It was in Marco Island. I think it was 1996, probably, right? The year I got my license. And I remember Mike on stage, Mike Ferry had a panel on stage, and he had Karen Bernardi, maybe only Tina will know, I don't know, Freud Candelario back then. And I'm looking at these people, and they're talking about making millions of dollars a year selling real estate. And I'm like, what? Like, I never even thought that was possible for anybody selling real estate. It just blew my mind. And I remember thinking, I have no idea how. I just had the feeling of, I can do this. And they were selling hundreds of homes a year. I'm like, I can do this. Again, without knowing how, right? I figured, well, I just talk to as many people as possible. And all that prospecting that I did, because, you know, this will sound familiar to you, and it is true. I, back then, obviously brand new, I don't have past clients to call. My sphere of influence was not that big. So I don't know, like, how many people do I know that are going to be buying or selling? So for me to actually start selling houses and making money, I have to talk to people that I don't know. There are a lot more people. I mean, there's, you know, hundreds of thousands or millions of people in my area that I don't know. And someone is going to be selling their house. I didn't want to work with buyers just because of my limited time, right? With the kids in the house, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to focus on listings because I know it's more efficient. So call. Never door knock, never mailed anything because I had no money to send mailings and things. And most of the calls I made that first year, the majority, because I was talking to about 400 people a week, contacts, actual conversations, because I hired a coach. I was broke, but I hired a one-on-one coach, a Mike Ferry coach, right back. So I'm tracking my numbers and how many people I'm talking to and what's going on. I know I was making about 400 contacts a week to sell 25 homes. If you actually multiply 400 a week times the number of weeks I worked that year and the number of homes I sold, it was like 820 contacts to sell a house. It was bad. Looking at it now, right, from any kind of perspective, $820 to sell a house. I mean, in 15 years of coaching, I've never seen an agent that bad as I was. Seriously. And I thought it was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. So I started making a lot of just listed, just sold calls in the neighborhood where I used to live. And I immediately started calling fsbos and expireds, because even though I didn't know how to speak with them really and how to convert them into appointments and listings, just because I was calling so many, that first year I actually listed and sold a few fsbos and a couple of expireds, more fsbos than expireds. And then starting my third year, I started working full time. I completely stopped making just listed, just sold calls, because in those first 2 years, I used to practice so much, like chant scripts, read them out loud, listen to role plays. I mean, I was spending all of my time was either working on my mindset, working on my skills, or prospecting. That's all I did. And so by my third year, I was getting better and better and better at being able to speak with expireds and fsbos and present and take listings and price them well. I remember that first year, I listed a lot of properties, that, a lot, relatively speaking, but I remember several of my listings expired because nobody told me I had to price them right. I thought I just had to list them. So like my second year, I started to realize, oh, there's more to it. It's not just listed. I got to figure out how to price these things. You learn things as you go. But fsbos and expireds are the single best, easiest prospects that you can contact, whether you call them or you door knock them. They're the easiest ones to take a listing today. Like, who else can you call? You walk into your office in the morning, you have no leads, 0 leads, and you get on the phone for 2 to 3 hours, you set a qualified listing appointment, and that afternoon you're getting a signature on a well-priced listing. Who else can you talk to that you could actually have those results every day that you pick up the phone? There's nobody else. I mean, I never called past clients in sphere of influence ever, because I got kind of hooked into the fsbos and expireds once I became good at it, because it was immediate business. I had no patience to be speaking like, don't do that. Okay, don't listen to me right now on that, because if I was getting back into real estate today, that is one of the things that I would do differently. Okay, because I was, as Tina said, I was listing about 150 fsbos and expireds a year. I did it for several years. About 125, 130 were selling. I had no buyers and I had no staff. It was just me, and my ex-husband was my assistant. That's it. That's it. If I had actually called and worked my past clients' sphere of influence, once I started getting all these past clients, I could have quadrupled the amount of homes I was selling. But I didn't have the patience to call them and, how are, and give them information about real estate, and when you know somebody, it's like, I never believed that I could call past client and sphere and set an appointment, go take a listing today. And I knew with fsbos and expireds, I could do that. So I'm like, that's where I'm gonna put my time. That was my reasoning. Should have done both, now looking at it, and this is what I say to my clients, the perfect real estate business, perfect, beautiful, is fsbos and expireds every single day, and your past clients and sphere. If you do that, and then you complement your prospecting with just listed, just solds, and you also are building relationships with affiliates that you do business with in real estate, mortgage brokers, title companies, home inspectors. So you give them business, they give you business. That's the perfect thing. I wasn't doing that. I was just, fsbos expired, that's it. It worked out good for me, and yet, could have done better if I had done the other side of it. And here's the thing. I don't know, Tina or anybody, correct me if I'm wrong. I have this hallucination that most real estate agents would rather do anything than call fsbos and expire. I mean, they would rather like, give me anything. I'll find anything to do so I don't have to call fsbos and expireds. Do you feel like that's true, Tina? Most of them.
I think it's very true. I think most people don't want to have rejection every single day, right? I mean,
Right.
It's a great feeling to be rejected.
Yeah, so let's talk about that for a minute, right? First of all, real estate it's a sales job. And any sales job, in order to get somebody to say yes and sign a contract to do business with you, whatever you're selling, in this case, you're selling your services, any sales career, there is just no getting around the no's, because you're never going to get somebody to say yes until you go through a lot of people saying no. And the truth is, you know, the rejection, because, hey, I know it's real. I don't know why I never actually had that fear of rejection. I learned very early on that the fact that they say no to me, it's not personal, because I mean, I was calling people I didn't know. Like, they don't know me. I mean, they're not rejecting me, Jackie. They don't have anything against me. It's just, they're not, there are two reasons why they would say no. Either they don't need what it is that I'm offering. In case of fsbos and expireds, they do need me. They do. But in the beginning, I was getting a lot of no's, just because I didn't know how to talk to them. So, and even then, even though I didn't know what I was doing, and I was just like kind of reading a script, and when you're reading a script, you sound kind of scripted, and they're saying something and you don't know what to, you know, I went through all of that. And because I was talking to so many people, I was still able to find someone that said yes. So it's just, but the truth is, the rejection, because I have this conversation with my clients, it really, if you take that personally, you know, you just got to look at it differently, because they don't know you, you don't know them. If they say no and hang up on you, you're never going to talk to them again unless you choose to call them back. Otherwise, okay, it's over, that's it. And it's not going to, see, actually, I was going to say, the no is not going to impact your business. But actually it will if you allow that no to stop you from making more contacts. Then it will definitely impact your business, because there's no way to get yeses without getting a lot of no's. So what I like to do is, you know, these little cash registers, like children's toys, that you punch little buttons, and then when it opens, it goes cha-ching. Yeah, buy one of those. And every time somebody says no, press that cha-ching button, because once you get really in the habit of prospecting every day and you're tracking your numbers, you're going to realize that every no is worth a certain amount of money. Let's say you have to talk to 100, just to use round numbers, because my math is, otherwise it will be real slow. So let's say you have to talk to 100 people to sell a home. And your average commission is 10,000, just to make it easy, right? Then every person that says no, if you take 10,000, I cannot even do that in my head. That's how bad it is. Okay. So if we take 10,000 and divide it by 100, every no is worth $100, because you know that it's going to take 100 conversations to sell one property. Then cha-ching, $100 for every no that you get. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Is that a different way of looking at rejection? Because, I mean, I was more scared of calling somebody I knew and sounding desperate than talking to somebody I don't know and making a fool of myself, which I did on a regular basis. You know, I said things I shouldn't say, and I didn't know what to say. I remember my first year calling new expired listings, right? Because new expired, 40 to 50% of expired listings relist the property within 72 hours. Now, you may be thinking, really? That many? That quickly? Yes, yes. If you don't believe that, guess what? They're still going to do it. The fact that you believe it or don't believe it, you want to argue about it, doesn't change the fact that it's going to happen. It's just not going to happen with you. So I start calling new expireds, right? My first year. And I was selling real estate in Fort Lauderdale, in South Florida. I'm still here. I live in Miami now, but I was in Fort Lauderdale. It's the most competitive real estate market in the country, South Florida. Miami specifically is the largest board of realtors in the United States. There are close to 60,000 real estate agents in Miami. So competitive, right? So here, I have no clue what I'm doing. I got the script in front of me. I'm calling new expireds, and they were mean. Like, I had no idea. Nobody warned me like that they're kind of crazy and they scream at you. So I call them. They're not happy. I wouldn't be happy either if I had my home on the market for 6 months without selling, and now 6 months later, phone is ringing off the hook. Everybody, I wouldn't be happy. And after they get 20, 30 calls within an hour or two, now the anger is turning into rage, and they're hostile, at least here. I don't know if they're like that up in North Carolina, are they, Tina? The new ones.
You know what? They can get a little aggressive, but they have a polite way of hanging up on you here.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember calling, you know, most of them were agitated, especially because my first year I was calling expireds at 9 a.m. because I thought, you know, and I knew the agents that were getting great results were calling at 8. But I had the story in my head that 8 o'clock was too early to call, so I'm calling at 9. By the time I call them at 9, there's been like 50 agents that already called them between 8 and 9. Seriously, right, in this area. So not only they're not happy because the house didn't sell, now I'm the 50th agent to call. They're about to chew my head off. And so they answer the phone, hello, and that's if they answer the phone, because some of them, after 50 calls, they decide not to answer anymore. So that's enough. You know, I learned all of this over time. But I remember calling and they go, hello, and hi. You know, I was Miss Nice real estate agent. Hi, this is Jackie. And the nicer I was, the crazier they got, the more they screamed, hung up on me super fast. I'm like, I had no idea. Like, what's wrong with these people? Little did I know, right? As you know, Tina, that when they're angry, you gotta be angry with them, not at them, with them. And I was doing the total opposite. I was just like, hi. And they're like, you're an idiot. You know, they're frustrated, they're agitated, and I'm speaking slow and being so nice. Yeah, that didn't work. So I remember my first year, after a few months of calling these new expireds, I didn't want to call them anymore because it took me a while to learn how to engage them in conversation. Because with a new expired, it's a great source of immediate business, but you got a few seconds to engage them or you're done. And that's a skill that over time I learned. But for sale by owners, let's talk about that for a minute. They're a lot easier to talk to. FSBOs they're not like crazy like the expireds down here. They'll talk to you. They'll ask if you have a buyer. Maybe they'll offer to pay a commission. They might even invite you to an open house if they're doing open house. You know, they talk to you. They're not crazy. So for that reason, I think I just started focusing more and more on FSBOs. And then in the beginning too, my approach with FSBOs was I will just keep calling them until they realize that what they're doing is not working and they're ready to hire an agent. So follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. And about my third year, I started learning how to, instead of having to follow up for weeks or months until they're ready, how do I make them ready right now? And how we make them ready right now is by having powerful conversations with them about the only thing that matters to them, which is sell this property and keep as much money as possible. So I started changing my approach, my conversations, the presentation to tailor to that conversation about they're selling the house on their own because they want to save the commission. And they're looking at it from what they know. I mean, maybe I could relate really well because I was a FSBO. You know, that's what I was thinking. I'm thinking, why am I going to pay an agent for? Look at, I mean, what do agents do? They'll put it in the multiple listing. Okay. What else do? They put all over the internet. They do open houses. They'll hire a professional photographer, a virtual tour. The FSBOs these days, they're looking at it thinking, I could do all of that. I could even pay a company a flat fee $400 or $500 and they'll put it in the multiple listing for me. I don't need to pay a 6% commission to an agent. Doesn't it make sense that they would think that way? Makes sense to me. Mm-hmm. They just don't know what they don't know. And our job is to show them the financial benefit, the value that we bring, and how by working with us, they'll be able to net more money. According to NAR in 2019, for sale by owners, the profile of buyers and sellers from NAR, if you Google it, you'll find it. It's a long report, but there's a FSBO section there, and it's on Google, or you could log in your NAR account and you find the whole thing there. According to NAR last year, for sale by owners nationwide sold their properties for 28% less than the agent assisted sales. 28%. Why? The ones that, and by the way, also same report last year, of all the homes sold nationwide, 93% of buyers used an agent to buy. So for sale by owner properties only represented 7% of the homes sold. Why such a huge percentage of buyers are using agents? Because the services are free. And so right there's a huge problem for FSBOs. It's the lack of exposure. They think that they could do all of this stuff, right, to attract buyers, but the reality is no matter what they do, 93% of buyers are using agents because it doesn't cost them anything to use an agent. So if it's free to use the services of a licensed professional experienced real estate agent, what's going to motivate a buyer to say, you know what, I'm not using an agent, I'm going to go do all of this on my own? What's the motivation? It's financial. They're looking for a deal. The commission the FSBO is not paying is the same commission the buyer feels they could save. And that's just to give you a little taste of why for sale by owners sell for so much less. And when we master this conversation, not over the phone, this is an in-person, right, at the appointment. Over the phone, you say just enough to get the appointment. And then you go do your presentation, whether it's Zoom or you're going in person, whatever, but not your only goal when you have that initial conversation with them is get a yes to an appointment. So you can then at the appointment show them the financial benefit of working with you. And this conversation, helping them understand, providing the NAR stats as evidence, and then reasoning, you know, the whole for sale by owner presentation on how we benefit them financially and the value of hiring us. It's a logical presentation. Supply and demand, more demand equals more money. Yeah, because, and again, more demand on their own. No matter what they do, they're only attracting 7% of the buyers in the market. Why? Because 93% are working with agents because they don't have to pay for it. And logical. I mean, I can go on for 2 hours with the benefit. There's just so much examples and dialogues, and you don't have to talk to them for 2 hours. Typically within, I would say, anywhere between 15 to 20 minutes, they are already like, whoa, I have no clue what I'm doing. Okay, where do I sign? I'm serious.
And
when
Jackie,
you actually master this presentation. And the beauty of this is, for sale by owners can make you millions of dollars because most real estate agents are not calling them. Or the ones that are calling don't know how to have this conversation. They're calling with the same approach I had in my first year, which is, I'm just going to follow up until they realize what they're doing is not working, because I didn't know any of this. So I was just following up. And so when you master this, you bypass all the other agents. Yeah, the FSBO is gonna say to these agents, no, I'm not doing anything. Call me in a month, it may be 2 months, and they say, oh, okay, I'll follow up with you. And then you're the next call. You have a powerful conversation. You go out and list the property, and it doesn't take a long time. It's not a matter of time. It's a matter, Tina, I'm sorry, I don't know the time and when. You gotta just tell me.
You're good because,
okay.
no, I was going to say, I think that your points are so good, because I think sometimes with realtors, they don't believe themselves that they will bring value to the for sale by owner, because they're thinking, well, it's true. If they sell it themselves in a hot market, they're going to save the commission. So until we can believe, like you said, your points, 93% of buyers use an agent to buy a home. So why would they come to an unrepresented seller and buy? Well, they want to save the commission. Everyone wants the commission. So I love that. And everybody that has our scripts, the FSBO script is Jackie's script. Like, it is when you say to a FSBO, is the reason you're selling your home yourself to save the commission. That was a game changer for me, because it took the objection away.
Exactly.
Immediately. So.
Well, and that question, Tina, speaks to what matters to them. It's not
Right.
about where are you moving to, how soon do you want to be there. They're thinking, I don't know you. Who are you? Why should I tell you what's going on with my life? They don't care. They don't want to have that conversation. What they care about is saving the commission.
Yes.
And I just want to speak to the point you made. In a hot market, they could sell on their own for a great price. So I want you, for everyone that, if you're having that kind of thinking, let's say it's a really hot market. And by the way, my best years, the years when I was listing 150 FSBOs and expireds, those years, about 100 of those listings were FSBOs. So it was 100 FSBOs, 50 expireds. Why? Because that was happening in the early 2000s, 2000, 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5. And for anybody that was in real estate at that time, it was the hottest market ever in the history of real estate in this country. Like, seriously, in Fort Lauderdale at that time, the inventory was a revolving door. We had 3,000 residential properties available. I know, because I used to study the numbers. I know what was going on. I used to use that in conversations. There were 3,000 residential properties available for sale. And every month, 3,000 sold and 3,000 came on the market. Every month. That's why I was listing more FSBOs than expireds, because there weren't that many expireds, very few properties, even though there were some. Don't think in a hot market there are no expireds. Oh yeah, there's still agents overpricing properties, taking short listings. So expireds are still out there, but there were a ton of FSBOs because the market was so hot, everybody thought they could sell on their own.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. It's not a question of whether they can sell on their own or not. The question is, what is the best way for them to do it so they can sell it for the most money possible and keep as much money as possible. Because could they sell it? Yeah. In a hot market, a FSBO can put a property for sale and 24 hours later, they have a full price offer. That's possible. Now, I want you to think about this. How much more money could they have sold that property for if instead of making it available to 7% of the buyers on the market, they made it available to 100% of the buyers on the market? It is supply and demand. When you think about an auction, in an auction, let's say you're getting, you see a pair of glasses on eBay you want to buy, starting bid $100. You bid $100 and you're the only bidder. Guess what? You pay $100, it's yours. If there are multiple bidders, the price starts to go up. You bid 100, somebody 110, 120, 150. Pretty soon, yeah, it sells for a lot more than the initial bid. Supply and demand. More demand equals more money. And that's it. I don't care if they could sell it for full price in one day. I can get them much more money by exposing this property to 100% of the buyers on the market and all the agents that are representing buyers nationwide, worldwide, where whatever it is, right? Depending on the kind of market you're in. So hot market is not the reason. The hot market is not an excuse to say, well, you know, they could do it on their own. Yeah. And one more thing, and then I'll be quiet. Tina, if you have any questions. What you said also about believing in the value, believing that hiring us is the best decision they can make. The day you actually decide to believe that, because our beliefs is just, it's a story we made up in the past and we repeat the story in our head over and over, we end up believing it. So to start believing something different, you gotta create and make up a new story and repeat it to yourself over and over. Pretty soon you believe it. You know that. So the day you decide to make up a new story about, I am the best agent in this marketplace, and anyone who doesn't work with me is making a mistake, that day is when you become unstoppable. Unstoppable. There's no competition. There is nothing that's gonna get in your way of you be the #1 listing agent in your area. That's it. All right, Tina.
Well, I love that. I mean, I think that there's so many good facts here. You know, when you think about, you know, people go, oh, there's no expireds to call, and FSBOs are selling themselves. I've actually heard agents say that, and it drives me crazy because you go, yes, they're selling themselves, but and I tell every FSBO, I agree that you can sell your home yourself. That is a 100% thing. But like you said, I can create an auction-like atmosphere and get hundreds of buyers to come into this home, hundreds of agents, because they're the ones that have the buyers locked into contracts. And if I can get all those people to your house, your property value will go up. And then we can curate the perfect offer. We could take the 5 offers and decide which one is going to be the best, and literally make a magical offer come to life because we've done that. So I just think that I think it's a lot of limiting beliefs for us. It's scary to people. You know, you might be hearing Jackie, she's just really confident. She might scare some of you, like, oh my God, she's really passionate, but
I'm nice though.
she is so nice. She's amazing. But the thing is, you're so passionate because you've made millions of dollars literally picking up the phone and getting out of your own way, right? And I remember you were on stage one time years ago, and you were saying, even though you had an accent, you know, and you worked on that even better. And we have a lot of people that speak 2 or 3 or 4 languages, and they get a little intimidated even, you know, because they have an accent. Well, you work on it, right? You work on making yourself better.
Absolutely. So. And, you know, Tina, it's funny you say that about the accent too. I was born and raised in Brazil. I moved to Miami when I was 22 years old. So I was an adult already. Obviously, I learned English there. I speak fluent Portuguese and Spanish because I learned Spanish very quickly living in Miami. But the thing is, I remember somebody saying to me, you know, these are like the things that you hear and you decide to believe it and it changes your life. I remember very shortly after I got into real estate, somebody saying to me, because I had this hang up about my accent too. And I remember somebody said to me, do you know that women with an accent make the best salespeople in the world? I'm like, really?
Yes.
You say, yeah. I said, okay. I just decided, you know what? I'm believing this. Wow. That belief changed everything. Okay. I'm like, I have no idea who even said that to me.
Right.
But it's what I was saying before about the beliefs, the limiting beliefs that we have. And it's just a story we made up. And most of them are not serving us, are not, it's just a bunch of junk.
Yes.
And we can actually replace those with beliefs that serve us. That's actually, that one served me really well. So
yeah. No, I think that's amazing. And that's the thing. I think it's just a matter of, you know, having the belief, but taking massive action, right? I mean,
100%.
Massive action.
Oh
and I have a young guy that just joined our team, and you know, for 2 weeks he's been on the phones, and yesterday he just came to all of us and he said, I made my first appointment and I'm going to get better and better and better. So I think it's just, you know, a never give up attitude is going to get you better. And for 3 years you practiced in the beginning, right? 2, 3, 4 years.
Well, and you know, the interesting thing about it is, I don't think we ever stop practicing. Yeah.
Right.
I have my own training company now. Yesterday, I spent all day recording video lessons. Some are live and some are video lessons. And I have notes. I'm studying before I get, and like, I know this stuff. It runs through my blood.
Right.
And yet I'm always looking for ways to now as a trainer to present it better and always getting better. So it's not like I ever stop practicing, but the massive action, Tina, I love that thought. My webcam just kind of turned off on me. So now I'm using my computer camera. It looks a little different. You can still see me. Anyway, there is no substitute for massive action. A lot of real estate agents think like, oh, well, you know, I'll attend this class, or, you know, I'll go to this seminar online or whatever now, right? Or, you know, I read a lot of books and I watch all these videos and I, you know, like training, coaching, and they don't do anything.
Right.
I mean, I've known a lot of real estate agents that they role play every day, but they don't make any calls. Like, religiously, Monday through Friday, from this time to this time, I'm role playing. Okay, how many contacts do you make? None. Like, what's the point?
Right.
If I had to choose between all of the training, now when you combine both, when you're well trained and you're taking massive action, wow, results. It's exponential, the growth and how quickly you get better. The challenge is some agents think that they could just, I have someone in my company now, she joined last week. She's known me for many years. She said to me in one of we were on the live calls, she said, I'm a professional student.
Oh boy.
I know. And, you know, she's been in real estate for 20 years, because I'm saying, you know, there is no substitute for massive action. If I had to choose between the training and reading great books, whatever, or just taking massive action, I say massive action.
Heck yeah.
Because you go the other way. And unfortunately, a lot of agents think that, you know, they could just learn and somehow things are going to happen. That's one thing with my training company too. I make it very clear to everyone that gets involved. You're going to have to work, and you're going to have to take the massive action, because there isn't, if you just join and you're watching all the training and you show up to every call and you're practicing, you don't do anything, guess what? You're going to be broke very shortly.
Exactly. So tell us about the coaching program, what it entails. and how it works.
Yeah.
Just a
actually,
realtor that I follow.
I'm sorry.
Oh, hold on. We got to mute Chris. Chris, you're not muted. Oh, we muted him.
Okay.
Okay.
So actually, SalesX Training is the name of my company. So if you go to salesxtraining.com, you'll get all the information there. And it is different than coaching, Tina. The traditional coaching that you and I are used to. And I was a coach for Mike Ferry and then for Keller Williams Maps. Now I'm on my own, finally.
Yay.
Yeah. I mean, I learned a ton, from every experience. The cool thing now is that I don't have to walk between anyone else's lines. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I know what you
And
mean.
now, I'm able to just pour everything into what I'm doing, and it's been incredible for me. But it's training, it's not coaching.
Right.
Whereas, you think of coaching traditionally, $1,000 a month, 30 minutes a week on a call with a coach, one-on-one, and then the rest of the week you're on your own. And I know for a fact that, and this is why SalesX Training is a different model. Agents need training and someone telling them what to do, how to do it, and all kinds of stuff every day. We need that every day. Those 30 minutes a week, I know from an agent perspective and then from a coach's perspective too, it's just not enough. I mean, it will help someone who is really, really driven, and yet agents need training every single day. And SalesX Training is that model, Monday through Friday, and every day of the week it's a different theme or topic. Mondays I call Dominate Your Market. So it's gonna be, they're usually 15-minute training lessons, video lessons, just me talking about different aspects of what an agent needs to master to dominate their market. Mm-hmm. Tuesdays, we have live role play. So those are live calls and I'm just role playing objections. Wednesday is skills training. So same video lessons. Thursday, we have a live forum, which is open mic, Q&A, that kind of stuff. And Fridays is mental toughness. So every day of the week, I'm covering something different, and it's $99 a month, which is affordable to everyone, because the $1,000 a month, it's not for everyone right away, whereas $99 a month, it's such a small investment that can give you an incredible return. And so that the model for me is give agents what they need and honestly what they want, because in 15 years of coaching for different companies, I was a bold coach for 5.5 years. All the agents were asking me is the stuff that I'm able to give them now in SalesX Training. So yeah.
I gotta say too, because I think that when I look back at the 10 years I was in coaching, mm-hmm. the accountability, I would tell everybody, if you want to go spend $1,000 a month to have a 30-minute therapy session about why you didn't do anything each week, pay $1,000 a month. I mean, really, right? I mean, and I love Mike Ferry, and I think I had, Monica Reynolds coach me too at MAPS. Great people, but it is literally, you have to take massive action in between. And so I would tell every agent, what Jackie's doing, what I learned the most in 10 years, was when I role played with Aaron Novello and Jackie and all these great agents, right? Karen Bernardi. When you're role playing every day and going, throw that objection out, throw that objection out. What do you say when you say this? That's where the real learning is, in the field of practice, not in the field of, let me talk to my coach for a 30-minute, just think of a football player. They're going to talk to the coach, but what are they going to do? Go take massive action. And that's where they're going to learn to move this way or that way or whatever. And so what Jackie is going to do, I'm signing up for it for my people, right? I mean, my people are going to have Jackie every day yelling at them because I can't do it all the time. So I just think that's it.
Tina, it's interesting that you said, you know, the coaching, it's a 30-minute therapy session. I'll tell you, I was a one-on-one coach for many years for Mike and then for MAPS. And, you know, I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychotherapist. I'm not a, I mean, and you're right. I mean, most of these calls are, so at the end of the call each week, they commit to doing all of this. And then so the next week you go, okay, great. So this was your homework assignment. How'd you do? Oh, I didn't do anything. And I was like, oh, because of this, because of that. Like, oh my gosh.
I don't know how you did it. I'd want to shoot myself. I don't know how you did it.
It's not easy. You know, when you're coaching people like that are already driven, you know, and it's not that. Even then, driven people, they need reminders of the skills, the scripts, the tools, the strategies, the techniques, the mental toughness. I need those reminders.
Yes, me too.
As I'm preparing for the lessons, I'm like, oh, wow, I needed this. You know, I need this as much as we all do because we're all human beings. So for me, to be able to create this model to be able to provide that at a price that any agent can afford, to me is just amazing. And scripts as well. I created some incredible worksheets for, let's say, handling FSBO objections, handling expired objections, lead follow-up, mindset. And it's a one-page quick reference of all the things they need to remember in all these different categories. There's just so many tools there. It's really cool. So
I'm excited. I'm excited. I think that what shows through to me today is your passion. You know, you have passion for the industry and that's what it takes. And you're not just a textbook coach. You know, you are a coach that walked the walk. You are a coach that was, you know, you were in those homes. You were rejected thousands and thousands of times, right? And therefore you're successful because you were rejected a lot. And so not everybody on this call is going to say, oh, I'm going to coach with Jackie. I think it's a huge mistake because she would, you know, if I knew that every day I was getting on a call and I could hear role plays over and over and over again, we actually tried to develop what you're doing on our small mastermind where we got agents on the phone, but it's very time consuming because we're running 2 other businesses. So if somebody like Jackie can kick you in the butt every single day and remind you to get out there and be a warrior for your family, be a warrior for yourself, and get out there and help people. And people are thankful when they meet an agent like Jackie. They're like, okay, this chick, she's going to get me through this battle. So yeah, I appreciate it. I know we had a lot of rah-rahs on the chat room, people saying she's awesome. I second that. One of the greatest coaches of all time. Somebody asked about finding phone numbers. I let them know Mojo, Land Voice, but you're going to help them with all of that too.
100%. Yeah. All of it. Tools, strategies, techniques, skills, scripts, mindset, all of it. I mean, we cover everything. It's really cool.
Does anybody want to chime in, you know, and I don't know if you want to unmute yourself and ask Jackie a quick question because we're going to be wrapping up. So if anyone has a burning question, ask it now or forever hold your peace.
Oh my gosh.
I have a quick question. It's not burning, but so I would possibly be interested, but like right now I'm at my job. I have a full-time job, so I'm just trying to balance. Just wanted to know if are there certain times for the coaching calls and.
Okay, so well, that's a great question, Ashley. The Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, they're video lessons.
Okay.
And Thursdays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, it's live at 1 p.m. Eastern time. But all of this, the video lessons, the recordings of the live calls are all in the training platform, and you can access it and listen to them as many times as you want, whenever you want. You have 24 access to all of this stuff.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
And I was going to say, if you guys want Jackie to kind of do a one-on-one coaching call with you, I know, Jackie, we talked about that. Either email me or leave your email in the box because she, you know, can talk to you about what she does. Yeah. Asking more questions. Because I think the thing is we all go, oh yeah, I like this. I want to do this. And then you forget and then you don't, you know, so Jackie's going to follow up with you and do a coaching call and then possibly, you know, go ahead and work with her. So if you're interested, let me know, let her know. And then somebody said, can you do a quick first sale by owner role play? I don't know if you have time for that, but
Yeah, we can do it.
I'll do it real quick. So
You want to do it, Tina?
yeah, I'll be the FSBO. You'll be the awesome agent.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. So let's go. Ring, ring.
Hello,
Hello. Is this Tina?
this is.
Tina, this is Jackie. I'm a local real estate agent. I noticed that you have your house for sale. Looks like you're selling it yourself, right?
Yes. Do you have a buyer?
Actually, Tina, that's a great question. I do work with a lot of buyers and sellers in the area, and I was just calling you to see how things are working out for you.
Oh, they're good. They're good. I think we might be getting an offer soon.
Oh my, wow. So you that's better than good. Sounds like you're doing great if you're already expecting an offer. Good for you.
Mhm.
Tina, I'm just curious, is saving the commission the main reason why you decided to sell it yourself instead of using an agent?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We sold a home years ago, and I just can't fathom paying, $18,000 to sell this home.
No, and hey, I hear what you're saying, Tina, and I agree with you. $18,000 is a lot of money, and obviously you sold the property on your own before too, so you could do it again, no doubt about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me just ask you, Tina, if I can show you a way where we can work together in the sale of this property, and by working with me, you would actually net more money than if you were to sell it yourself, especially in today's market. Is that something you might be interested in looking at?
Well, in all honesty, Jackie, I mean, I don't really see how you can do that.
Mm-hmm. Well, and Tina, I understand what you're saying, because in your mind, you're doing the math and you're going, well, how is that possible, right? I mean, how do I pay you to sell the property and I end up with more money? I know the math is not adding up for you. And Tina, at the same time, if it was possible for me to actually do that, I imagine that you would be open to the possibility, right?
Yeah, possibly.
Okay, great. So here's what I propose we do, Tina. Let's set up a 20-minute meeting so I can share with you all of the reasons why I am confident that hiring me is the best financial decision you can make. And then at the end of our meeting, you get to decide what makes sense for you. How does that sound?
I mean, that sounds good. I'll definitely have to speak with my husband, but we're probably not going to list it right away.
Right. And how about this, Tina? And I understand that you have to speak with your husband. Obviously, the sale of the property is a really important decision, and this is not something that you're going to do it on your own. So here's what I'm thinking. Why don't we go ahead and pencil in a time for the three of us to meet? I actually have an opening on my schedule today around 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, if it'd be better for the two of you. And of course, I'll leave you my telephone number. You let your husband know it's only a 20-minute meeting, and I promise promise you, Tina, it's gonna be worth your time. And if for any reason you need to change it or reschedule it, you could text me or give me a call, and we can go ahead and rearrange that. So would 3 o'clock work well for both of you today? Would 4 be better?
Let's do 4.
Okay, great. Look forward to seeing you at 4. So
I mean, come on, guys, right? I mean, is that not genius? Come on. And what I love is mirroring and matching. She's agreeing and approving, but there's conviction in her voice, right? Didn't you not want to have that agent come over to your house? Come on, speak up, guys. Unmute yourself. Chime in.
I know everybody's muted, right?
Yes, that was good.
Isn't that good?
That was really good.
And by the way, let me just say this so you're not wondering later. After you say yes, I'm going to pre-qualify the appointment now. I'm
Oh.
going to pre-qualify. But until I get you to say yes, all the questions on the pre-qualifying script are irrelevant. I don't, right? Until you say yes to meeting with me, I don't care where you're moving to. I don't care how much you owe. I don't care about anything other than get a yes.
Yes.
And that's really important, because sometimes agents get wrapped up into, let's say, if you were to ask where they're moving to and they say, well, you know, I don't know, I'm really not in a hurry. Now you say, oh boy, they're not motivated. They're, you know, so now that's an objection, but for you, it's a condition, because now you get all distracted. You go down like a rabbit hole with that, and you forget, wait a minute, they haven't even said yes to meeting with me. So what do I care where they're moving to? Until you get a yes, you got no business asking any pre-qualifying questions.
I love it. I love it. Oh, you're the best. I mean, she's amazing, everybody. I mean, that's why I brought her to the call, because like I said, I'm so excited because she's the master at it. I was like 20% as good, you know, of her level. I was 20%, and look at how much business I got. So think about, if you can master this, it's not, and I don't want to say it's that hard. It's easy, but the hard part is mastery, right? And doing it over and over again.
But you know, a mastery comes it's every day a little better, a little better, a little better. When you're being trained and you're taking action every day, you get better every single day. And pretty soon, guess what? The time is going to pass anyhow.
Right.
A year from now, you're going to look at it where you were and go, whoa, blow your mind. Or if you don't do anything, you're going to be where you're at. So I don't like the definition of insanity. I choose not to live like that. So
right. That's right. Well, Jackie, you're amazing. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
This is recorded. And so we're going to send it out to our whole group, because like I said, we usually get about, 15, 20 people, and then we get lots of views. So again, everybody email me your email address, and I'm going to send this video out to our team. Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. My pleasure. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for joining.
Send me the document to sign up for the coaching so we can get that for our team.
realtextraining.com. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
See ya.